All right, call this regular meeting of the Park Board to order. Today is Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. Pursuant to the open meeting law, any person may make an audio or video recording of this public meeting or may transmit the meeting through any medium. Attendees are therefore advised that such recordings or transmissions are being made, whether perceived or unperceived, by those present and are deemed acknowledged and permissible. Roll call. Nick,
Yes.
name.
Nicholas Cecilio.
Victor Farias.
Amber Burns.
BJ McDonald. Citizens input? Anybody, Nancy? No. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes from the June 5th
Make a
regular
motion.
Park Board meeting?
Make a motion to accept the minutes from June 5th.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Farias, second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, do we want to take those out of order? Make a motion to let them out.
I make a motion to take items M and N out of order.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Burns to take items M and N out of order, second by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So the first request is for the PAL basketball clinic at Britland Park, Wardell Street on 8/23 from 3 to 8. Anybody have questions on that?
No, as long as there's no
Date.
other conflicting events,
Scheduled for that date.
yeah.
Good?
No, I did have a question from Christian McCluskey. He may try to contact them and work something with them to maybe be involved in that. I don't know if he reached out to you.
As of today,
I was
no.
gonna say, I think that would
Okay.
be outside of this though, right? Like that would,
Yeah, that would be them collaborating
them.
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah,
them.
yeah,
That's
so not
between them.
anything
So
else.
right now, as it stands, I do not have an event there. And this is an event that I believe has been done by Mr. Pereira before. He's just now,
He may have been
Collaborating.
last year involved with an event at that location. This year, he's a member of the board of directors at PAL,
okay.
and I want to do it with
As
the
part
police
of the team,
athletic league and
yes.
organize it.
yeah, then I make a motion to approve, and then Nancy can work out the details if she needs anything additional.
I think we have everything that you need.
Well, he's
but
gonna
it's
need
just
the
gonna be up to-
liability, you know,
Right.
the sign-offs, depending
Okay.
on what the event has. If he doesn't have food or whatever, I'll work that all out
Just
once we.
a question. What
I'll
about,
have the insurance, so
Yes.
once it comes in, I'm waiting for it to come in from my agent.
Yep.
what about rain dates? Because it is summertime.
There will be no rain date. The plan, I was told, will be to go inside to an auditorium, a gymnasium
Okay.
in the city.
Okay, so alternate location. Okay.
All right. I made a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
Motion
you.
carries.
Yep.
And then motion N, Mr. Cullen, I don't know if you have anything to add, but this is the request for the PAL Pickleball League and the use of the Kennedy Park courts on Bay Street. There's a request, the request in here is for Mondays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Wednesdays from 4:30 to 9:30, Fridays from 4:30 to 9:30, and then Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 1.
So I guess the question that the board had asked too was rosters, like. for the
Yeah, so there's a
meetings.
couple things, I guess, right off the bat. Typically the park's 9 o'clock curfew that the lights go off. So when they're permitted out, they make exceptions 9:30. My first question on it was more so also when it comes to permits, typically it's rosters, leagues, game times. I know pickleball is a little bit different than, a typical soccer league or basketball league. But I know that.
But if it's a
Do you
league, it's a
have-
league, so there should be like a schedule.
Yeah, so I guess that would be my first question is, how does that work? And
The first,
two,
the
who's
first answer is this, is we wanted to get permission first before we commence the registration process. Because once we commence the registration process, we'll have the names, we'll organize the divisions, and then they'll be presented to Nancy. But this was the first step in the process to see if the park board would be okay with having an official organized program.
And what's the age group?
Basically, I believe it was 14, 15, and upwards, roughly.
Okay, so you have like a middle school, high school, and then like an adult league too?
Yes. And we played by age groups, so we're
Okay.
looking at 3 divisions. And more like, we're family-oriented in the Police Athletic League. It's for everybody, all ages.
Sure.
Families, we have
So-
adults, we have,
So I guess what
youth.
that, and I guess this is where the board was heading with the days, depending on the number of people, that would dictate the number of days
Days, yeah.
necessary, the
Right.
times necessary. So I guess the step one would be, yes, we have no issue to you moving forward with organizing the league. And then once we get that information back with
Yeah.
scheduled games and rosters, then we would be able to determine how many dates
Yeah.
or days and
Because
times.
typically, like, when leagues come, they already know, like, they've been here before, but if
Yes.
they haven't, they'll give us some sort of like a mock, like,
Right.
league plan. So we can't just say yes, and then you guys build it off of this, because let's say you only get, which I don't think this will happen, but let's say you only get like 10 people. We can't permit out all of these times for 10 people when obviously other people wouldn't be able to utilize it.
Understandable.
Because these are high playing times too,
Right.
to,
And I think the other thing, probably consideration, is maybe if it were during these times, depending on how many registrations you get and what the schedule looks like, maybe the permit is for 2 of the 4 courts, or maybe it's for, based on your numbers and what's gonna work. I think
Yeah.
we're more than happy to be flexible. I think our hesitation or my hesitation from the beginning, going back to last year when the courts opened, is just trying to balance the public use of the court versus, the exclusive use that's given by a permit. So there's a fine line between the exclusivity of a permit versus a public park, and that's the only public pickleball, courts
if you
we
want
have.
to add
So
into some of that on how
Is that
it's
fair?
organized.
Yeah, no, I already have, a pretty big, input of people from Fall River that are interested in doing the leagues already. One of them's like already almost filled up just from me kind of throwing it out there.
and how many people's that?
32. That's just for like one of the leagues. So basically, like you said, if we can move forward with it, then I would start garnering more interest from other people, because I didn't want to just
Yeah.
go
Right,
crazy.
but
with
this
it.
is what you have to understand, if you garnered much interest from this public league, that's gonna take away from what you have right now. Or are those people that are presently playing with you right now looking to go over to this PAL league? Because what's gonna happen is when you establish a league, now the open play may become less, and I think what we're really gonna try to avoid is people playing in both leagues.
So most of the times that we're gonna use the courts, since I'm there most of the time anyway, there isn't that many people on those times, which is kind of why I selected those times from just what I've seen. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm not conflicting with anything like that.
Okay, but what I'm gonna say there is your league is very popular on Tuesday, Thursday, correct? So this is what I don't, and what this board doesn't want to happen. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday goes to PAL, and then Tuesday, Thursday is now your particular group, and we have no open time.
correct.
That's what we have to try to avoid.
Okay.
And that was their main concern. We have no issue, and I know the board has no issue with trying to, but we need to leave open time. And if your league, if you pick these days because you know your league primarily plays, your group, because it's not a league, whatever, plays on Tuesday, Thursday, now we've just monopolized every day. So that's what would, I think the best thing would be, get the schedules in, we get the rosters, you're gonna see the names, who they are, where they're from, what grade, ages they're from, and maybe he don't need all this time, maybe he would need less time, maybe he'd need 1 day on the weekend, not 2 days on the weekends. So I guess that would be,
Yeah, because that would be also part of that question is, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you sign up for the league, are you signing up to play 5 days out of 7 days? Is it you play once a week?
Just once a week.
So I think maybe we would table this until the next meeting. And then in the meantime, that gives you guys the chance to garner, and put together what you're thinking as far as times and age groups
And
and
collecting,
sign-ups,
yeah,
collecting the
sign-ups.
people that are gonna be interested. We're gonna meet again the first week of August, so
Which
it's
is
only a
good,
couple
2
weeks
weeks
away. So it gives you a chance to kind of iron out some of those details and then come back, and then we can figure out,
Yeah.
you know, from there,
And
what the
then
fairest way
Yeah.
is to
And,
do
and
it.
Nancy, I don't know if you have what people typically do, but like you say you're only gonna be playing one day out of the week. Which, I'm just going, there wouldn't be a reason to section off 5 days if you're only gonna play on it one. Cause then, like she said, that then there's no time for anybody who just wants to go
Well, I
down.
think
Because
what he's saying is if the 14-year-olds will play on one day, is that what you're saying?
Oh, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't just, okay.
So that's why,
20-year-olds will
like,
play
if-
on another day,
if
so
he
they're
comes
gonna
back with
they're gonna play
Yeah.
different days. That one 14-year-old won't play 3 days in the week. The
Yeah.
14-year-old league might be a Wednesday night, right? Am I-
Yeah, it would basically go, like Monday, like the morning one would be like 55 plus, because there's more availability because most of those people are retired. So that would be like the Monday, and then like the Friday, there's different kind of skill levels for everything. So Friday would kind of be like the intermediate, and then the Saturday would kind of be like a little bit more advanced intermediate. So it's gonna encompass all the ages in the league, but it's just going to have everybody playing at the same time.
We've just, on past experience, like with Britland Park, we give out blanket permits, and then if it's not used or it is used, you know, so I think that's really what we're trying to avoid and make sure that if people wanna go down and play, so.
In the meantime, no one has a permit, so that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you won't be able to take your group and say, okay, we're gonna
Yeah, or you wanna have a
You know,
tryout,
it's
you know,
the
an
same as it
unofficial
is, so it's
tryout.
not like-
just-
choking you from playing for this next 2 weeks.
Okay.
But what it's gonna be able to do is allow you to get an idea of how many 15-year-olds you have. I'm gonna bet that you're gonna have a lot more 55-year-olds than you are 15-year-olds. But hey, I don't know. But at least this way, we'll be able to say, okay, this is 55 plus on Friday nights, and we know that that's who's supposed to be there. If we see two 20-year-old kids, we're like, oh, you're not in the league.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's really what we try
And it's
to
what we do
know
with all
and
the other leagues
understand
anyway.
is, we just wanna know what's going on in the parks, whether it's pickleball or whether it's softball. I mean, I was thinking back to the thing we had with like the Easter egg hunt, that
Yeah.
wasn't an Easter egg hunt.
Mhm.
We just wanna know, you know, who's using it, specifically when there's a permit given out.
Understandable. We'll start registrations commence, and I will communicate directly with Nancy on our progress each week as we go forward until your next meeting.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like a plan.
entertain a motion to table.
I'll make a motion to table
I'll second it.
till next meeting.
So the motion to table was made by Commissioner Farias, seconded by Commissioner Cecilio. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
We need
carries.
another letter for the next board meeting, or?
Well, no, what.
This
you
just
need-
gets tabled
I
to the
just show
next
up
one,
then.
so.
Yeah.
What you're going to need to provide for the next board meeting would be your list, like your roster
Yes.
names. Remember, I had sent you, this is what
Yes.
we asked for the beginning
I have
of
that.
every week. So it would be your names and address of players, a schedule of times, like if you're gonna use these Mondays,
I put that in the
Wednesdays.
letter, the times
Yes,
already, so
just-
I'll have the
And you'll be
names.
able to put those people in, like,
Yes.
4 people are on a court at a given time, this is doubles, this is singles, we'll be able to know.
Yeah, and then that way, if you don't need the full 4:30 to 9, you know, maybe if there's not enough people, maybe it's 7 to 9, or maybe it's
Yes,
4 to
we can
6, or
adjust it.
whatever.
Yes.
That way we can just work it out
Very fair.
based on the numbers.
I have one question for you, just so this comes up. So I don't know what the ratio is, but I know, I made a joke before the meeting started, but what does the ratio need to be of Fall River residents versus non-Fall River residents?
That's strictly board determined.
Okay.
That's, that's definitely board determined. We do like a majority of, we had teams where, 8 teams were Fall River, 2 teams were not. I'm sure they want it to be more than
Yeah,
50%,
yeah.
but I guess it would,
I just don't want that to be, yeah. So try to have as many Fall River residents as possible. Because that'll end up being an
based in
issue
the
for other
city.
leagues, because that's something that we've cracked down on. If you have 60-40 and they're non-resident, it's been an issue in the past, so I don't want it to end up coming back on us, like, well, you let them do it, why can't we do it?
Yeah, we are based in the city, the Police Athletic League, and official name Police Athletic League of Fall River. We have members from New Bedford, different programs. They come from different places, but we've been in the city since 1960.
Oh, I don't
so
doubt that at all.
it's-
It's just when you get the roster,
Yes.
it'll say police athletic league, but will still have where they live. So
Right.
that's the part that gets, because it's on public record. So
And
it'll end
it's
up being
not
looked
anything
at.
that you wouldn't get awarded that time, it might just have less time.
Yeah.
Because then they need to leave some time open for Fall River residents. But
Yeah.
I would say the more information you can provide,
Mhm.
names, addresses, times, dates.
And what it
Yeah.
looks like how long, like if you sign up, I would imagine, I'm not a pickleball player, but I imagine you're not playing one game, right? It's probably.
Yeah, it's multiple games.
So is it typically like, if I signed up to play, you play for an hour, you play for 2 hours, you play 4 games, like,
It depends how many people are there and then the amount of games. So like most people want to play like 6 or 7 games, maybe like 8. I don't know.
Okay.
But they all vary in length depending on.
and so even with the structure of the league, I guess that's the other thing that I don't know if I fully understand is, if you sign up, it's still kind of informal as far as like there is no master schedule. You know, like when you're in Little League, you get a schedule and it's okay. The Red Sox play the Orioles on Monday and then they play on Wednesday. Like I'm assuming
And
this
then
is
there's
kind
a
of
time
like
slot for each.
yeah.
Well,
So
this,
you
this
know.
particular league would have that. His particular league, like the one that we have not permitted out, I don't think has
Well,
that.
I
Because it's
think
like
I think that
comments.
maybe we just want to clarify that because I don't know like with the PA of the police league now. If I sign up and you say okay, be down here at 5 o'clock.
Are you gonna be there till 10?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
just like
how-
a free for all.
Is it just kind of
With a
whoever's
worn-out
there
arm?
matches up and it's you're
It's
kind of
it's
there?
going to be structured. It will be structured leagues. So there's a lot of different ways to run the leagues. There's like ladder leagues. There's all kinds of stuff. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm going to structure them so that way either sometimes people are going to have set partners or sometimes they'll
Okay.
just run a different variation of a league. But they are going to be structured leagues.
We're only asking because we're gonna get ask these questions eventually, so we just need to know.
I was hoping you were asking because you guys wanted to play.
We might be the champions. We don't want
Yeah, no,
any
we don't wanna do that
controversy.
to you guys. Yeah, no.
Helen left. I think she wanted to play.
Yeah. 55 plus Monday mornings.
All right. So with the motion to table was made and seconded, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. So you guys will just get Nancy some info in the next couple
And we'll
weeks
put it
for
in
us,
August.
and we'll have this on our next meeting to, better understand how much time you need.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Make a motion to, return to,
The regular scheduled program.
Regular
We'll go.
scheduled meeting.
We'll go back to item A.
Better safe than sorry, so you may as well give us a second on that. Amber.
Second to our regularly scheduled program.
Motion was made to back to item A by Commissioner Farias, seconded by Commissioner Burns. All in favor?
aye.
Motion carries. So item A is the Bristol Community College soccer request for Britland Park. They have 4 games they're looking for. It's September 17th, October 1st, October 8th, and October 22nd. They're all Tuesday afternoons at 3:30.
So just a question, because I know we have next couple of motions about, claiming Britland Park. Obviously, they play in the rain, but, Massachusetts fall is crazy. It can be tornado warnings, there can be thunderstorms for 3 straight days. Who's going to be in charge of doing rescheduling if there's any rescheduling that has to happen? Is that us? Oh, that's you, Nancy?
Typically, Nancy will just coordinate that. Yeah.
Okay. I could just see because the dates are so
Yeah,
tight
no.
and they all it's
Yes.
reserved every day during the week. So like, God forbid if a thunderstorm came through for 3 straight days, you got 3 games you got to reschedule and you got to find room for them. So
No, they have to come through us. They would submit again, and then those daily
Okay.
things, I wouldn't normally bring
that was
back
that
to
was
the
my only
board.
concern because I looked at
As
it
long as I
previously
can-
and just
As long as we can fit them in.
okay.
We fit them in, kind of on a first come
Come first served basis. Okay, so it's up to them to contact you and okay, gotcha.
Yes.
All right, that's all I was concerned about. Because anything can happen in Massachusetts
Correct.
weather.
And it does.
Can we make a blanket motion for A through C? Or is that not a thing?
Yeah, we can do that.
You
We
can,
can take them
and
together.
with it being, I'll work out any type of.
Yeah.
Conflict?
Conflicts, and if there is something that is,
We could take it through D too. I
I
could
was gonna
read
say, I
all
was
those
just
off
trying to-
because
yeah.
those are all together. Those are all for the use of Britland Park.
Yeah.
When I created the agenda, Nancy and I went through, and there is one conflict between Diamond and Argosy on September 18th. So I think Nancy's just gonna have to be the intermediary there between the two schools to figure out, what the best course of action is to kind of handle that. So,
Alright, so I make a motion to have, Nancy handle Bristol Community College, request for Britland, Diamond, request for Britland, Argosy, request for Britland, and Emerson Montero, request for Britland, God, why can't I say Britland? So that she just works out the schedules, makes it work, and then if there's any conflicts, that she can contact them directly.
so the motion was made to take items A through D, to approve, contingent on, you know, scheduling and working with Nancy to make sure she has the necessary documentation. That motion was made by Commissioner Burns. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cecilio. Any other questions?
Just so the board knows, I did receive Fall River Youth Soccer. We gave everyone till the 15th, but the agenda had to be created prior to yesterday, and I did receive it prior to the 15th, so I will work those dates into this as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sorry.
Item E, to the right page here, is a request from Mark Conrad regarding improvements to Griffin Park on 4th Street. Speaking with Nancy, the graffiti on the basketball courts has already been addressed. The doggy bags in the park have also been addressed. And we've been working, and I know Mr. Oliveira has it on his agenda to address maybe some of the courts, not only at Griffin Park, but all of the courts throughout the city. That's something that is being looked at. We know that there are cracks in the basketball courts. We've got to figure out how to pay for getting them fixed, and, you know, which ones are going to take priority is going to kind of be contingent on which ones are worse. So as far as the basketball courts go, that's the update there. And then the power outlet in the park, I had a conversation with Mr. Oliveira and Nancy regarding trying to get him an outlet in the park, but there's some logistical, you know, issues there, and Mr. Oliveira can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's kind of like he uses it a few times throughout the year for different community events. Right now, he's bringing in a generator, but he'd like to have an outlet in the park, which I think makes sense. The problem is it's only a couple times throughout the year, so to
Yeah.
get an electrician out there to wire it, to secure it, to, you know, not allow people to
Yeah,
use it when
justify it.
he's not using it, and to justify it, I think is a little bit of an uphill battle. But I don't know if anybody else has
I
any
mean,
thoughts.
I was gonna say, typically everyone uses generators when you have an event. I
Right.
think the only park that has one is Kennedy, but I think that typically isn't even used.
There's one.
It's only
that's
for like the
sometimes-
basketball, like when they did the basketball, like they would use it every now and then, but,
They didn't have a generator for that?
they did, and then they started using the outlet there.
Oh, there's an outlet
Mhm.
outside the building, yes.
But yeah, other than that, every
Right,
other
but
year
see,
we've
that
always
was,
used
that was a
generators.
simple thing, because there's an electrical building there,
Mhm.
and the outlet was just put on the outside of the electrical building.
There's no building there.
Griffin,
Yeah.
Griffin has no building, no, you know, box, no anything, so
Yeah.
that's really, not a good, not good logistics for
Right.
that type of thing, and as we said, for 1 or 2 times a year, there's so much more that we have going on that if, I don't know that we can justify the expense of that,
Yeah.
so. I will relay the message.
Yeah, I feel like the cost of that versus fixing the court would probably be.
And then the
Right.
ongoing
In line.
issue with it, because you gotta make sure if you're putting it out there that it's always secured and that people aren't, you know, using it when they're
Right.
not supposed to be using it and all of those things, so like, there's a lot more to it than just sticking an outlet there.
Yeah.
So I think we can just place this on file. Nancy's addressed, you know, the concerns that we can address, and, if we ever can put an outlet there, I mean, it's certainly something we're not opposed to, but logistically, it's tough,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, I make a motion to, place on file, and then Nancy just communicate with Mark. what we
Second.
Talked about.
Motion made by Commissioner Burns to just accept and place on file, seconded by Commissioner Farias. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Item F is a request from Renee Brown regarding the backpack giveaway at Lafayette Park on July 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. I don't have any other anything else to add. Any discussion?
No, I mean, as long as nothing's going on, right?
Have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Farias, seconded
Second.
Oh,
Well, go ahead. You got
by
me.
Commissioner Cecilio. All in favor?
Aye.
I was trying to do someone else's turn.
That's
and then-
okay.
No.
Motion carries. The next one is just some concerns from the veterans regarding some tire marks and destruction, I guess, of the grass over by the Vietnam Wall down by Bicentennial Park.
Yeah.
So I've spoke with Victor, I've spoke with the mayor's office. Samantha from the mayor's office reached out today. The mayor's office is working closely with the veterans to address this and get it fixed. Originally, they thought was that it might have been from food trucks on the 4th of July, but in speaking with Samantha today from the mayor's office, there was a lot of people down there on the 5th doing some cleanup. It wasn't noticed that this had happened. So, and when you look at it, they look like double tires, and I
Yeah.
don't think most of the food trucks have those double tires. So the other thing that she mentioned was somebody did say that there was a boat with a big trailer that had backed up when they were trying to launch.
That makes
So we
sense.
think that maybe the trailer may have caused this damage. They're looking into the cameras that are down there to see if maybe they can pick up a plate or see who might have been down there. As of now, this is all the information we have. I don't think there's really anything for the board to do other than acknowledge this. And, the mayor's office is working with the Parks Department to get it fixed and potentially figure out who it might have been.
Make a motion to acknowledge this and put it on file?
Motion was made by Commissioner Cecilio, second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next, do you want to take the next two together too? Do you have questions for Mr. Hackett? You want to take those together?
We can take, I make a motion to couple H and J.
Each and I.
H and I.
I'll second.
Let's take items H and I together. They're a request for a slow pitch softball tournament at Father Kelly Park on August 17th and 18th, and then also on November 2nd and 3rd. There's also a request for a wooden bat tournament or a wooden bat league Saturday mornings from September through November. The only issue or thing to note is, the lighting project that's going on down there. So if that's gonna interrupt, we're still not sure as far as what the contractor is gonna tell us. So if the contractor deems they can't play while he's doing it, they gotta find another place to play. If the contractor says they can, I think that's kind of the approach we're taking. It's the contractor's site.
Right.
If he says they can play, then they can play. If they can't, then they're gonna have to make other arrangements, and I think Mr. Hackett knows that and
Right,
understands
so
that.
we'll inform Mr. Hackett that the requests are approved with the stipulation that if there is a chance that construction is taking place, he needs to find an alternative. So it might be good to have a Plan B in place just in case. So he'll be under that understanding now, so he'll be able to make I don't think it's going to interfere that much with the August,
But as you get into the fall, it might.
but
Yeah.
depending on when the contractor starts. The contractor had said the lights would be available second week of August, so that's about just when the lights are gonna be there. So I'm thinking that the first tournament, he'll be safe, but the construction, depending on what goes on, could be, through the, September, October. He could be safe in November, or all depends how smooth things go.
Right.
So he's gotta understand that that's a project that we have going on there, and these things, he does do these every year, so.
And we've said it kind of every meeting that, the lights are going up. At some point, you might have to.
Would we have another park for him to play in Fall River, or would he have to find
I don't
elsewhere?
think that it would be
It's probably not gonna be what he would like.
acceptable to what he would want. Would we have another park? We may, but I don't know that it would meet
You wouldn't.
what he would want.
Okay.
So that's something we'd have to, I mean, we do have Ruggles, I think it's a little bit small. We do have Cupolo, it's a stone dust field, not in the same shape because no one really plays on it as what his field would be.
Mhm.
So that's, there are other locations and there's also other communities. He's got people in his, that play from all over in his league.
I think they play in Tiverton and
Yeah.
stuff too.
They play
Like,
all
they'll
over.
make-
Tiverton has a
they-
league.
They can make.
So they may
I
be
think
able
they'll
to
figure
move
it
it
out.
there.
It's a minor convenience for them to have, brand new lights.
Mhm.
They'll figure it out.
It's only 2 days too, so I mean,
So do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Farias. Do I have a second?
second,
Second by Commissioner Burns. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item J is a request from the Housing Authority to post signs in the couple of parks for their free movie nights. So Joey had reached out for that, and he had switched a couple of them afterwards, but I think they might already be up.
Yeah. So I guess the question is they gonna remove them when they remove them? Because there's been times where you see them just lingering out there and all the movie nights are done.
Yeah.
So,
We can let Joey know to make sure he,
okay, that's it. It's just, it's not a big deal. It's just,
They
Yep.
usually all come down around the same time in September.
It's-
They go up in June and they all come down.
there's a
in
couple movies I
September.
want to see and then all of a sudden it's past the date, but the sign's still there, so.
I make a motion to approve.
I second.
motion to approve by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Cecilio. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. There's an email here. It's actually not Jose Silva, it's Jessica Wong regarding the
Oh,
dog
Jose
park.
Silva Park.
Yeah. It's regarding the dog park on Locust Street, the conditions and some requested improvements. I've talked to Nancy and I had a conversation about this as well. The broken fence and the locks have been addressed already, I believe. And it's kind of, we can't put turf down there like she's requesting. And it's kind of difficult to keep grass there when the dogs are just
Constantly
constantly
tearing,
there.
yeah.
So I think the Parks Department does the best they can with this, but I don't know if anybody has anything to add to it.
I mean, I take my dogs to that park, so I understand what she's saying, but, like, even like, we don't have a dispenser there, correct? Or we do, but
No,
there's no,
we've
there's,
had multiple dispensers
They
there.
broke, they
They
broke them.
bust them, they break them off the fence, we put another one back. The bags, I don't know why people wanna take 10 bags at a time and
I
bring
was
them
gonna say,
home.
Yeah.
you can't keep
It's
up
like,
with
that's what
that.
the bags are for there. We have people just pulling the
Yeah.
bag, that stuff in there. We actually had the police one time in Abbott have some lady empty out her bag and say, come on, can you go put those back? I saw you take them."
God.
I mean, yeah, it's, the bags are filled on a regular basis, but,
Mhm.
there's 400 bags put there. If someone's taking 50 by themselves, there's not gonna be enough to go around, but
Mhm.
we do go around and fill the bags, and they, I believe, this week, I had a couple of dispensers, so I know, like, either the end of last week or this week, they were scheduled to put them back up on the fence. I mean, they asked for metal dispensers. We've had metal dispensers in other parks. They just,
Yeah.
instead of breaking it, they bend it. So unfortunately, not everyone has the same respect as other people.
Yeah.
So, we do our best to try to keep it in decent working order. And like BJ said, most of this has been addressed. We can't address the grass. We've gone there. It is.
It's dirt.
Yeah.
It's because the two dogs run
Yeah.
Mhm.
side by
Oh,
side.
yeah, trust me,
on each
my
side
dog
of
does the same
fence.
thing, and it
Yes.
just,
Mhm.
And they dig and, yeah.
Right, and we've had to go there and fill the holes. I mean, I would hope that if, this would help, if you see your dog digging a hole, and I don't care, when your dog's digging the hole though, please go fill the hole, because then that makes it a lot easier for us
Mhm.
when we go in there to maintain it, because now we're not bringing in dirt to fill holes. The dirt's right there when your dog is done. Just throw it back
back
in
in.
the hole.
I
Yeah,
would be interested to see, I know Tiverton, I've never been, but people talk about Tiverton has like a community dog park that's like amazing, but I don't know what it looks like. I'll have to like or what they do.
Well, I
to
think
keep it up.
that it's a whole different, you know, they're probably in a place where they have to all drive there. We have a lot of walking people, we have driving people, ours is centralized in
Right.
the middle
It gets a
of-
lot of use.
And it gets
There's
a lot of
always
use.
folks in
Exactly.
there. There's
And
always
And
people
a
there.
lot of people in Tiverton may have their own home where their dog is out in their own backyard. In Fall River, it's a thing where the dog park is where they're gonna go because they might have this dog in a, you know, an apartment house or whatever, or they don't have a big enough yard, so they're going there. I think the Tiverton Dog Park is gonna get, it's more,
Probably less people.
yeah, definitely less people and more like, you know, socializing of their dog rather than their dog to have a place to play.
Yeah. All right.
So I think
I
for
think
this
it's a
board, as
necessity
long
for
as,
us.
yeah, and I think for us, as long as the fence is safe and not broken, and the, you know, the latches on the gates are not broken and they all work, we do our best with the bags and everything else.
Might be opening a can of worms, so maybe we could look into putting another one, or like one of the parks that's not being used or something. I know, I just opened a can of worms, so I said that. I recognize that. But, so there would be,
Roll back.
you could just, we can have them spread out instead of all being in one park. Be less holes. We can spread out the holes. Never mind. Roll back the tape, Fred all right, I make a motion to place on file. And I can reach out to Jess, I'm friends with her, so I can talk to her about it too if she has any other concerns.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issue with working, like, I've replaced those locks multiple times. I was telling BJ, I think some people too, they're the gates, they're the
They don't
locks
know how
like
to use
on a pool, where they don't work like a regular lock, and some
Right,
people I
pick it
think
up.
are getting frustrated because they don't know which, I've done it at a pool myself,
Yeah.
you push this up, you push
I
this
think
down.
that's
Yeah.
why I went, there's like a shoelace.
Right, so I think, maybe we're better off just putting a regular
Latch.
latch.
Latch, yeah.
And I
Probably
think
cheaper,
that's
too.
gonna be, it's much, 1,000 times cheaper. So I think that may be the very next move, is rather
Yeah.
than put back these different kinda, latches, just, I think the reason for that was because when it swings back, it latches
Yeah,
shut.
mhm.
The other way, you gotta rely on someone to latch that thing down, so. I'll have them check the locks and latches again, but it's quite often that we need to replace them.
Motion was made to place on file by Commissioner Burns and seconded by Commissioner Cecilio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The item L is a request from the Vietnam vets, Chapter 207, regarding an MIA POW event on September 20th at 1 o'clock at the Veterans Memorial Park on Duval Street.
So I'm sure Amber's gonna ask, cause she usually does, I did reach out to the VSO to, see if this was all right, and he had approved it, and he did say, yes, he had no issue with it.
I don't want us to get in trouble again.
I know,
Well, and it's a new VSO too.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
yes.
See?
And
Would
he
you
said
mind?
that they're gonna work on something where everything will come
Together.
together. They were working on a plan, so,
Okay.
but in the meantime, he said we would go with the system that we had in place. I would check in with him every time we had if it doesn't come directly from him.
Okay. I make a motion to approve.
Second?
Motion to approve by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Cecilio. All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Farris abstained from that vote. Motion carries. And then item O is just some information from community development regarding $80,000 in funds to the park department for FY '25. So, motion to place that on file.
Make a
too.
motion
Any
to place on
questions
file.
that?
No, no questions. Second?
All right, motion to place on file made by Commissioner Farris, second by Commissioner Cecilio. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Anybody have any inquiries? Anything they didn't make the agenda that needs to be discussed?
No, we're good.
Good. Nancy, anything? Mr. Olivera, anything?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Burns, seconded by Commissioner Cecilio. All in favor?
Aye.